Just as a fair warning, today's episode might make you a little upset because it definitely made me upset. We're going to be exploring if Audric Estime could potentially not make the 53-man roster. What's going on, Broncos country? Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. My name is Moose. Now, before we start off today's show, I do want to point out that there are some dates that we have for training camp. The rookies are going to report on July 16th, while the veterans will report a little less than a week later on July 22nd. Zach Stevens obviously was able to, bring this to us. Great reporting by him. And I can't wait because going another month without football just seems unbearable. So thank God we have middle of July football to talk about with the Broncos. All right, now back to the topic on hand. Could the Broncos look to be cutting Audric Estime? Now, I'm going to be fully transparent with you. When I first started to read this article, I thought there was no shot in hell. And I still don't like the thought of this. I'm going to be completely honest with you. But the more and more I started to read about it, and the more and more I thought about bringing in J.K. Dobbins and what we have with R.J. Harvey, the more and more I thought this could actually be a possibility. Now, I'm going to break down everything surrounding Audric Estime and this whole running back situation, but I got a message from my boss yesterday who said, this is what your current June-like standing is, and look at the record. We are less than 400 likes away. That's one video, people. So I need you to do me a huge favor, completely free, by the way. Click that thumbs up button on today's video. Help me beat the like record today. All right. Athlon Sports was the first place to kind of report this, if you want to call it that. They mostly do rumor videos, or rumor articles, I should say. But I feel like this one was based in a little bit more fact than some of the other ones. They said the Denver Broncos drafted Audric Estime in the 5th round out of Notre Dame. Shout out to the Fighting Irish. Estime had a slow rookie season, that's kind of putting it mildly, but head coach Sean Payton said that with more volume, he would have the opportunity to show what he's capable of in 2025. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, that sounds great. If Sean Payton's saying it, then why are we even talking about this video? Well, that was before J.K. Dobbins was signed. So clearly, something happened between when Sean Payton made this statement and the signing of J.K. Dobbins where they believed that the running back situation and the room wasn't fully complete. Athlon Sports goes on to say this. The Broncos recently signed veteran running back J.K. Dobbins, and suddenly, the position group is pretty compact. Denver already had a new exciting rookie in R.J. Harvey, absolutely, who they drafted in the 2nd round of this year's draft. Dobbins and Harvey are expected to be the 1-2 punch in the Broncos' backfield. I don't think anybody disagrees with that, which leaves guys like Estime and the others with little playing time behind them. So this is currently what I have the Broncos depth chart looking like. Now, you could interchange McLaughlin and Estime if you want. I have no issues with that. But I feel like the fact comes in, and the more basis in this could actually happen, because DNVR released a video about their roster projections, the 53-man roster, their very first one. Now, again, we haven't even seen training camp yet. We don't have any idea what Sean Payton is thinking. But they predicted that Estime does not make the 53-man roster. They have 4 running backs that the Broncos end up going with, and Estime is not one of them. Now, if we go back to 2024 and we start to see what he did on the field, it's not great. I'm not going to lie to you. But that 4.1 yards per carry leads me to believe that there's a little bit something left in there. There's a little more juice in the tank. And trust me when I say this, I don't think he's going to get cut. I just want to put that out right now. I'm exploring what other people have said and formulating my own opinion. I don't think he's going to get cut. I don't think that you would cut a second-year player. Not of Estime's caliber, especially with what he did at Notre Dame. And if I go back to the last, between the three of them, because obviously Javonte Williams was RB1 last year, you can't tell me or convince me that Estime was so far behind Jaleel McLaughlin that he deserves to be cut. He doesn't. Now, there are some things that he definitely needs to work on. He's got a fumbling issue. He can't really pick up a blitz right now. two things that are kind of, needed if you're going to be a substantial role player in a running back room, especially in the NFL when all the defensive players that you're going up against are outstanding. They're athletic freaks. So I look at what he did at Notre Dame, and I still see, and maybe maybe it's bias, right? You could look at me and say, well, you're a Notre Dame fan, Moose, so you clearly love Estime. Well, I saw what he was able to do at Notre Dame. The power, the low center of gravity, the ability to fight for the extra yard. Make no mistake about it, he's not a player that has insane burst. That's not his game. But when you get him going north to south, he's like a refrigerator with legs. I mean, he's a bowling ball, just rolling down the field. So I feel like having a position for him where he can be a third down or short yardage back is something that can't be understated, especially given his size. So I don't think he gets cut. But I do understand the diminishing of the role and people thinking, well, if Dobbins and Harvey are 1 and 2, where's the Estime fit in? So I'll ask you this question. I feel like it's, comes with the territory. Do you think that Audric Estime is going to get cut? Yes or no? Like I said, I say no. But if you believe that he will, at least defend your answer down in the comment section down below. Don't just be like, Moose, you're nuts, because I don't want him to get cut, nor do I think he will. But let me know either way in the comment section down below. Now, before we continue about the Denver running back room, I've got to tell you about this sweet Bo Nix shirt. It is super cool, and I'm thinking about buying one myself. So all you got to do is use the link that I've put in the comments and description of today's video. Chatsports.com/Bo Nix T. By the way, it does support the channel if you already use that link and start shopping with us. It's kind of a little handshake deal that we've going on. So if you love the Broncos Breakdown and you like sweet Broncos gear, again, link that I've put in the comments and description of today's video. Okay, the main question now becomes, after we've discussed Estime, is will the Broncos keep 4 running backs? Now, if you were to break down the anatomy of an NFL roster, most NFL teams keep 3 to 4 running backs. 4 being the high end, 3 being the low end. Clearly with the injury history that we've seen the position play at. It's a violent sport. These guys are getting hit all the time, whether it be with the ball in their hands or on a block. So running back has one of the shortest shelf lives in the NFL. So I look at what the Broncos currently have, and I say, okay, well, we should at least go through who the guarantees are. Because there are 3 guarantees, to me at least. The other 3 you could make an argument for. So let's start with the most obvious one, J.K. Dobbins. You don't go out and sign him before training camp if you don't think he's going to make the roster. He's clearly the most proven out of everybody in this running back room. He's an RB1. When he's healthy, he is a very, very good NFL starting caliber running back. In fact, some might argue that he hasn't even lived up to his full potential yet because he can't stay healthy. So J.K. Dobbins is easily a 10 out of 10 making the roster. Does that mean that his role might shift further on in the season, especially if we see great things from R.J. Harvey? It's possible, which leads me into my second guarantee. R.J. Harvey, obviously. First, he hasn't even stepped foot on the field yet. You're not going to cut him, right? He's making the roster. In fact, if I could go higher than 10, I would. He's a 25 out of 10. So he's easily making the roster. So you've got your 1-2 punch right there ready to go. Now, here's where I feel like some of you are going to snap on me. Jaleel McLaughlin. Now, I know what you're thinking. Moose, you have been clamoring for the Broncos and saying that he's a loser in OTAs and he's a loser in training camp. And you're right, I have. But I never once said that McLaughlin wouldn't make the roster. He's too talented to get cut. So I have said that he's a trade candidate. In fact, outside of Dobbins and Harvey, of the rest of the running backs that are currently in that room, he has the highest trade value. So I said he's a trade candidate, not a cut candidate. He would easily be moved for draft capital. They wouldn't just move off of him. So I believe, because he's also Sean Payton's guy, that's a 9 out of 10. He's making the roster. There is a slight 10% chance that if the other players completely outperform him in training camp, that, yeah, Is it a possibility? Sure, but it's not likely. So it's a 9 out of 10 that Jaleel makes the roster as well, the 53. So there's 3. That leaves room for 1 more. And the non-guarantees, Audric Estime, Blake Watson, Tyler Badie. Now, Badie is a better pass blocker than both of those guys. I don't really think Blake Watson is a factor in this. So it comes down between Badie and Estime. And if I had to put my money on it, given that Estime still has something to prove, given that he was only a rookie last season, and that he still has that little extra ability to fight for that extra yard, given his size, I think Estime ends up squeaking out that last roster spot. Now, what will his role look like in 2025? That remains to be seen. I don't know what Sean Payton has in store in terms of his rotation, but I do think that Estime finds that last running back spot without a doubt. All right. How many running backs will make the 53-man roster for the Broncos? I don't think you'll say anything higher than 4. I also don't think you'll say anything less than 3. So 3 or 4, I'm going to stake my claim for 4, considering that's usually what NFL teams go with. So I'll just say 4. Either way, let me know in the comments section down below. That's going to do it for us on today's episode. We're going to be back later on this afternoon with another video just for you. Call it a doubling up of days here. I am Trace Moustakas. You can call me Moose. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Like today's video. And as always, be cool.